Hello Guppies, Virixiss here with a new Be a Better Diver guide. In this installment, we're going to be talking about practicing and why you need to do more of it. Sure, it's common advice and it makes sense on a surface level, but I'm not just going to tell you why practice is good. Instead, we're also going to be talking about different kinds of practicing and unexpected benefits from them. So, let's get to the basics. Why practice at all? Well, to get better at the game, of course. As I explained in my habit loop video, functioning on well-honed habits is a great way to playing any game to a higher degree. And practice is the keystone to building better habits. The more muscle memory you develop, the less active thinking you need to devote to deliberate actions, and so you free that mental resource for other more important things. It's like learning how to type. When you first started learning, you probably had to look at the keyboard quite frequently. You hunted and pecked your way across the board and made plenty of mistakes along the way. But once you've put in almost 20 years of practice, now you can type pretty damn well, and you only have to look at the keyboard to realign your fingers from time to time. Much the same way for practicing anything, including video games. But playing a game has a lot more variables than just figuring out where your hands and fingers are, and so there are lots of different types of practice to help enhance each type of skill that you need. In general, you can divide practice into 3 different kinds. There is general practice, which is done just by playing the game repeatedly in a single devoted sitting. Physical drills, which is practicing a single action over and over to build and refine muscle memory. And mental practice, which is consistently practicing or reminding yourself of a single mental skill until it becomes habit. All of these work together to form a network of related skills in a single environment, and that is what we're hoping to achieve. Now, I've already gone over mental practice in my mental checklist video, linked here, so check that out if you want to get started with practice right after this video. But to recap, you want to build a series of habits that form into a priority list or a checklist that defines your actions at any given time. This is also called an OODA loop, which stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. It's a form of mental checklist devised by one of the Navy's top fighter pilots in history, John Boyd. You use the loop to take in your surroundings, figure out what information is relevant to you and where it puts you in regards to your situation, coming to a complete image as you can possibly have with what you have collected, and finding the best course of action, and then acting upon that decision without hesitation. The key to a strong OODA loop is how fast you can cycle through that. If you can go through your OODA loop faster than your opponent, then you will be able to gather more and better information than he can, which makes your actions unclear to him while making his actions clear to you. Physical drills will be getting a video all on their own as well, but for right now you can look up some FPS drills on YouTube to see what they're all based on. You'll learn how, say, how to find sensitivity that's right for you, how holding your mouse differently can affect how well you can travel, and learn how to translate a movement from your mouse into an almost pixel-precise movement on your screen. The rest of this video is going to focus on general practice and its benefits, or just playing the game regularly. Putting in the hours is the most raw way you can get better at the game. You will learn a lot just through osmosis of other players, experimenting on your own, and learning what works and what doesn't. But you should always try to have a goal when you set forward to deliberately practice. It's fine to just play a few games casually, but if you're going to take the time to deliberately practice, you should take the time to deliberately practice something specific. Such as, I'm going to practice my spear gun aim today. I'm going to try to gather all of the gold on the map with the DPV. I'm going to practice finding sharks using audio. These are just some examples, but they give you specific goals, and these can really help you nail down some real progress to some skills that you can choose. Otherwise, you may end up facing a performance plateau that can make playing the game seem quite disheartening. But even if you don't set a goal, there's still a unique benefit to just playing the game a whole bunch. The effect is called cognitive flow. although you may know it as Gamer's Zen. Now, I could try to describe it for you, but Dan from the show Extra Credits already has such a great description that he and the team have written there. I'm just going to quote him.
Flow. Games like Everyday Shooter, N2O, or even a really good session of the original Alien vs. Predator can bring a player to a sort of zen trance. We've all been there at one point or another. Your eyes enter soft focus, your blinking slows, your breathing becomes incredibly regular, and you are just doing. There is no controller. You and the screen are one. You've stopped thinking in the ordinary sense of cognition, and instead are working on some much deeper level.
This state of cognitive flow really only happens once your habit loops have begun to trigger themselves. It happens when the game is difficult enough to challenge your skill, but not enough to crush you. Flow sits in a valley between anxiety and boredom and can only manifest in a world with clear and expected rules, achievable goals, performance feedback that's immediate, and very little distraction. This explains why you can get into a state of flow during a good match of Unreal Tournament or CSGO, and yet a round of League of Legends can seem so irritating and tense. Games that actively hide information from you aren't going to produce a state of flow, and likewise, if you're not constantly gathering information for your OODA loop, flow will likely to continue to elude you. Flow is a very strong state of mind to be in during play, and it's only achievable with a certain amount of practice in a single sitting. This is why professional players will often have weeks of scrims and warm-up matches just before the real games begin. This way they can get into a flow state much faster than normal. So go out today and practice something. It doesn't even have to be in depth, but in something that has your attention. Is it another game? Is it an outdoor hobby? Is it something completely strange and random? I don't care, go out and practice it. Learn how practicing can help you get better. Notice when new skills picked up. Notice when you learn something new. Pick some specific goal and work towards it. Attempt to practice enough to get into a state of cognitive flow. Strengthen your mental checklists and your OODA loops. Try out new physical drills. Then I want you to hop back into the water and see how well your practice has paid off. And of course, I want to thank you for watching this Be a Better Diver video. If you found it to be helpful, remember to smack the like button down below because it really helps me out. If you're new to the channel, please check out my other Be a Better Diver guides and subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you and your new skills in the water next time, guppies. Virixiss out. Hey, if you're still here, I'd also invite you to check out the Extra Credits channel that I'm going to link down in the description below. It is a great channel if you like knowing what goes on in the game industry behind the scenes, how you can get into the game industry, and what makes your favorite games so damn good. It's really worth a watch, and I'm going to link it down below.